we don't got time to unpack. We can make a whole video about that quote itself. But let's hear it one more time. They tell me that we are lessers. We are lesser than them. But I'm starting to think that's also not true.
Yeah, there was once upon a time where we were 3/5 of a man, right? I mean, that's what I heard.
Welcome back to the channel, QandTG. Today, we're going to talk to y'all about our favorite quotes for some of the books that we've read recently and in the past, a little mixture of everything in there. But, you know, we oftentimes when we read, we usually buddy read, and a lot of the times we see these quotes or get these quotes that we just kind of record for later, and we just kind of find ourselves just bringing them back up and talking about them. So we're going to take y'all through some of that today, read some of y'all our favorite quotes, and you know, in the comments below, put down some of your favorite quotes from some of the books you like. Might inspire us to go check that out, or maybe we missed one in the book, and you know, you can call that out too. Cool?
Sounds good.
All right, cool. So TG, hit us with the first quote. Hit us with a quote that you.
So this one is from Joe Abercrombie, and the blade itself is once you got a task
with your boy Glockta,
yeah. Inquisitor Glockta. It's once you got a task to do, it's better to do it than live with the fear of it. And for me, that just hits me because it's like sometimes I think about things I want to do that are difficult, or a difficult conversation I need to have, or something I think might be time consuming, or maybe something I messed up that I don't want to own to. And it's just like sometimes the weight of, or the dread of facing that task is actually worse than the task itself, actually doing that task, you know? So that's one that sticks out to me.
Cool. They tell me that we are lessers, but I'm starting to think that's not true. That's from The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter.
Lie detector determined that was a lie.
That was a lie. This quote right here, just we don't got time to unpack. We can make a whole video about that quote itself. But let's hear it one more time. They tell me that we are lessers. We are lesser than them. But I'm starting to think that's also not true.
Yeah, there was once upon a time where we were 3/5 of a man, right? I mean, that's what I heard. So yeah,
it's very impactful, but it is a great book, great action. Check it out. Before I go on, I like that shirt.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
It's crisp.
Yeah.
Like you put some starch on it.
No, I didn't starch it, but I didn't starch it. No, I didn't. I didn't. Yeah,
it's not stiff. That's nice though.
I appreciate you. This is one that we talked about a while ago that we always love. It says, "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. The man who never reads lives but one." And that's like that was almost the epitome of when people ask me like, "Why do you read so much?" That's why, because I get to experience you know, life, you know, through my imagination of something that's completely different. For a good 2 weeks or a month, I get to, you know, immerse myself in someone else's shoes, escape, you know, and it's so cool. And I leave with the story in my head, and I leave, you know, somehow changed, somehow thinking about things. We start a conversation with ourselves or with our friends.
So funny you mentioned like change. So I have friends that read, they ask, you know, "Oh, what do you read?" And I have one friend in particular, and she's like, you know, "I don't like reading fantasy or fiction. I prefer like self-help, you know, like non-fiction type books." And I never said this to her, but I've been meaning to tell her. It's kind of like, if you get the right book, fantasy or fiction or non-fiction, doesn't matter, because usually a really good book will often inspire you to do a lot of the things that self-help books tell you to do as well. But it's just kind of wrapped into a story, and you know, obviously. But I mean, it's just it's dope. It's a good quote.
Jojen.
Jojen read.
Yeah. All right. So what you got?
On some non-finished books. They ain't complete. But the TV show is done. Go check the TV show out. I got another one from Rage of Dragons. And we're gonna leave it here after this one. The world burns. You gotta read the book to get it. But it's basically a chant that these lesser warriors chant to motivate them as they're fighting. And it's kind of tied into some more story behind it in the book. But just there's certain things in a book where it gives you the chills, right? It just kind of like, it kind of, you almost wish you was there chanting along with the people who are going through these struggles or going through these fights or these trials. And that was one of the quotes, like, the world burns, like, yo, like, burn that shit down, like, you know what I'm saying? That. So I'm all for it. It's a Dragon show. So yeah, the world burns.
The world burns. I'm gonna keep with the theme of people who don't finish their book series. So this is from Patrick Rothfuss's A Wise Man Fears, and it's questions we can't answer that teach us the most, that teach us how to think. Give a man an answer, all he gains is a little fact, but give him a question and he'll look for his own answers. So that was, it was definitely obviously, the play on the teacher man, the fish, and he'll feed himself forever. But no, that was just a really good one just to talk about just, how, especially in today's time, I think about how people might see an article, see a headline, and they immediately think, oh, that's facts, I'm going off that, instead of doing your own research, instead of being inquisitive by nature, getting your own sources and stuff like that. So I really like that one because it basically teaches you to think more and think outside of the box, and don't just take the first thing you hear as someone tells you and that's your fact and you go by that. Like, no, search for your own answers and
get your own truth.
Yeah.
Love conquers all, except it doesn't. It doesn't conquer lies. 11/22/63, Stephen King. So this book was a low-key love story. Now, Terry hasn't read it yet.
I haven't read it yet, but
we're gonna buddy read it. I'm gonna reread it whenever he decides to read
that.
And I didn't realize, I thought I was reading a book about somebody going back in history trying to prevent the murder of JFK, but it really turned into a love story. And I was like, yo, this is good. Romance. Talking
about our romance readers who don't like fantasy fiction, this might be your entry point to switch us up. We went to your world, maybe y'all come to our world through that book because it's got the romance in it, right?
It's a long ass book though. I think it's like 1,200 pages, like real talk. So, but nah, this is a really great novel. It caught me by surprise, and I truly enjoyed it. And I thought that was very powerful. Like it's so true. Love does conquer everything, but your ass is out here lying. It throws that out the door.
Throws it out the door.
So.
The other one we would say from Stephen King is "You'll Float Too."
Was another. Put that in here.
That was another one that made me. That was almost like
we would text each other, like we would be like just like random text. Oh yeah, what you do today? Oh, where did you hear about that game? Oh, they lost by like X. Well, that's great. You'll Float Too.
That's like that. You'll Float Too was another one that we used frequently after reading it and in the midst of it. And as many of you probably know, Pennywise the Clown. It was his kind of tagline, like when he was like, most of the time he'd already got somebody, and like somebody on the edges would be like, oh snap, like, he got you, he got you. And he was like, oh, and Penny was like, oh, you'll float too, like, you can get this work too, I can come get you too. And it was just like, oh gosh, like, so I'll pass that to you, but that you sparked me on that one. You'll float too is another one of our quotes that we use a lot.
TG reminded me of this one from Words of Radiance. From the Stormlight archive. Brandon Sanderson. Shout out to the GOAT.
Shout out to that guy.
Life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination.
Love that joint, man.
Talk about motivation, like talk about you just the camaraderie, going through some things with the group of people, and y'all are fighting, or just individually, like. Strength before weakness, journey before destination, life before death. Live. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Strength before weakness. Stand up. Do something about it.
Yeah.
And the journey before destination. Have some fun along the way.
That's probably one of my favorite from those books. Sanderson the GOAT, man. Gavriel Kay and Tigana.
GGK.
There are no wrong turnings, only paths we had not known we were meant to walk. And so that to me is basically like, hey, you might have felt like you made a mistake at this point in time in your life where you went here, and it's like, no, that's just part of your story.
Right.
It's not, you didn't do anything that completely derailed you from your purpose or what you're supposed to be. You just didn't know you were supposed to go through that, and you went through it, and now it's a part of who you are, and you either stronger from it or somebody can learn from you from it.
Yeah.
And so him to say that there's no wrong turning, just you just didn't know you're supposed to go through that. I'm like, okay, I like that.
Nothing but experiences. That's it.
Yep.
So
yeah,
live through it, fight through it, help yourself and someone else out.
That's it, man.
Boom.
Huge motivational speaker.
Try video, sub if you want more, and holla at your boys. We coming with some more heat later. I don't know if we should call it heat. We come with more videos later. So
we call it heat. Why can't we do heat checks? We got here
right.
Heat check video. Also, let us know your favorite quotes in the comments so we can, add them to our stash. And we might pick the book up off of it. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, cool. Hey, appreciate y'all. Thanks for stopping by.
Always.
We love the love. So drop us some comments and let's interact. Peace.
Peace.